Hey, what's up you guys? This is Junior Trader and in this video we are taking a look at Apple stock. Should you just stay away from Apple or should you take this opportunity of buying Apple stock at this cheaper price? In this video, we'll take a look at what to do, buy or sell or stay away from the lens of technicals, but not just that. I want to provide you a little bit of more of a picture as in what things have been building around Apple, whole company and the scenario, and things that have been forgotten, which I'll not let you forget in this video. I'll bring that point at the end of this video, almost not end of the video, somewhere in the middle once I cover some background information that I want to go over first on Apple, because that will put things back in perspective again because no one is talking about that. So let's jump right into it. Once I also let you know, none of this is any financial advice, only for education purposes, just sharing my opinion. Please do your own thing. So, Apple, yes, we are in a decline, but I'll get to this in just a second because should you take this opportunity to buy here at this cheaper price? Because Apple is the greatest company, right? It's the one of the biggest, greatest company that you can buy at any price. People have made arguments in the past, decades ago, years ago, or maybe decades ago, not decades ago. Yeah, well, technically, if you take it from decades, they always say like, "Oh, Apple always goes up." But is this a place where you have substantial pullback and a confirmation to buy? Well, let's take a look at everything. As I said, not just technicals. Yes, technicals are what will help us identify should you take this opportunity to buy or not or stay away. But first, I want to take you over some of the WWDC announcements and my opinion, most importantly, and then one most important information I want to go over regarding Apple that everyone has forgotten, but I'll not let you forget that. So, all right, so it was very underwhelming, I would say, this WWDC. They came out with not really their own creation of AI, but just integrating the existing AI systems through APIs into their, for the developers toolkit as well. This article doesn't go into the developers toolkit, but there's another article that goes over that. I'm not going to take you there because, yeah. I'll get to the point in just a second around the development of the apps and app scenarios in just a second. But sure, visual intelligence is Apple's AI powered image analysis technology that allows you to gather information about your surroundings. You can upload a picture to ChatGPT, ask it the same question, it will give you all that information as well. So, nothing new over here. Nothing new over here from Apple. Yeah, pretty much, And Workout Buddy, sure, it's their ongoing thing. Live translation, not a big thing. Google is already ahead on this as well. AI helps with unknown callers. Apple has introduced two new AI powered features for phone calls. The first is referred to as call screening, which automatically answers calls from unknown numbers in the background. This allows user to hear the caller's name and the reason for the call before deciding whether to answer. Again, mostly using well, again, the voice recognition system and understanding what the voice is saying. Again, Google does this for a very long time. Even in their YouTube videos, they have algorithm that goes through the video to check through is the video good to be publicly visible or not, right? So nothing much new here in terms of technology. I'll one opinions I want to go over that in just a second. Poll suggestion and messages. It's just a in a software an added functionality of a poll, not too big. It's just very underwhelming for me. All right, AI powered shortcuts. Okay, again, it's just gonna read through all your stuff. What pretty much just Chat GPT does, and it's just gonna create some. What they have done is mostly is they have taken multifaceted approach of Chat GPT and has created categories out of it automatically. So, for example, the functionality of shortcuts creations, well, if it's just going to create, okay, what you are typing and analyze that and accordingly create shortcuts out of it, which for ChatGPT may be the headlines, right? And so things along that lines, they have just taken parts and bits of, a ChatGPT or AI ChatGPT, large language model, however you want to call it, and just given it some, narrowed down shape without you typing in and asking it to do it. It's just that it's going to just do that. So it's narrowed down, logged in, but it's nothing new. Okay, they just have taken one and bit and part of the categories from there, from the functionalities of large language model, and just added it in there as like hardwired in these their particular apps. Okay, contextually aware spotlight. Okay, not gonna go too much in depth there. Again, I'm just gonna really quickly go up there. Well, their AI powered Siri was a setback. The developments are still behind the times. They haven't really come out with anything much. So regarding that, this is says the most disappointing news to emerge from the event was that much anticipate sorry from the event was that the much anticipated development for Siri aren't ready yet. Okay, the next one is this liquid glass display or material, well, liquid design. I have, when a company doesn't have anything much important, or they don't have all the blanks to fill in for a WWDC event, or they don't have any big eye-catching things to bring out, these type of projects that goes as a hobby or innovate or die type of, the projects, behind the scenes, they just say, oh, well, how's that thing going? Oh yeah, we don't have much to fill in this WWDC. Is that, yeah, let's launch that thing to fill in the blank, right? So these are mostly in the company. I'm not saying this is their hobby project, but these are the mostly the type of projects, some which is not a high priority, but these are used to fill in the space in such events. Okay, so they say, okay, with this we want to push something this year to sell to the public. Let's do this UI liquid glass thing out. I'm not too keen on this thing, because and all of this what I have talked about, okay, there is nothing really new. But the thing, right, so I'm not too crazy about this liquid glass design. It's just going to create more problems for developers moving forward. Now they have to create their, the app logos, designs, and everything to accommodate with all this thing. While they develop Android apps as well, they have to create separate design models and everything. It's just more pain. Okay, but anyways, the one another thing that I mentioned that I don't want you to forget is, and I'll have to write it down here, 30% loss of their revenue on US App Store from their, payment system, payment ecosystem. Apple has lost that. This is the thing that everyone has forgotten, but you shouldn't. This is what will affect their financial too much in the long run. They are losing. This is a negative 30%. It's gone from the balance sheet. It's cooked. Tim Cook is cooked, my friends. Okay. So, anyways, not saying that it's just kaboom, but it's a loss of 30%. So if things even can go up, but they will still be 30% less what they would have been if that thing would still have been there, the 30% for them. But that's not there anymore. And so any of these things they come out with recently, sure, it's these things are gonna help in some functionalities, but it's what ChatGPT pretty much does, or large language models pretty much does. They just Apple just integrated that in bits and parts, as I just explained in their things. They haven't really invented anything big. This liquid glass thing, as I said, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know, but if you know, there was a Windows glass theme many years ago. Windows has tried that. Basically, it's just going to use more processing power. I don't think it's really needed. You can use that high processing power somewhere else on a phone, because the more UI layers you add on top of it, technically it's just a layer, things along those lines, more processing. Who is watching the mobile screen all day long? Well, I think many people nowadays do it, but I mean, how many times are you going to watch that, glass theme do its thing every day, right? Anyways, for me, I felt like it's a very underwhelming. this year for Apple, and that 30% loss on US app stores with their whole payment system. Don't forget that. That's not good. Now, Apple has been, now I'm on the daily interval, let's go through the technical. So, is this that should you take this opportunity to buy here? Well, as per the background of Apple that I just took you over, I am not too keen in like holding on to Apple for the long term. But for the trade or even for a buying opportunity for the long run, technically we are in the downtrend. Let's turn on my another tool for a second just to give you a picture here. This is a red structure on the daily interval right now. It's not a time to buy. It's not in an uptrend. It's not even bullish technically. Not just in an uptrend. It's just not, the structure is just not there for it to play to upside. It's negative. That's why we have a red structure. Definitely, if you have access to my tools, when the structure will turn green, definitely you can try to play this thing. Take it as a trade though. But as for the things to watch, we are still going down. And if you are a member, all these things you are already aware about that. If you have access to my tools, you already know all of this. Check out the details in the description of this video if you are interested to join the memberships on my Patreon. A lot of details I talk about there, daily regular coverage if you join that membership, and if you need access to my tools as well, there is a membership for that as well. As I said, check out the details in the description of this video. Now, how low can we go? Technically, Apple is in the downward direction. How low can we go? Let me zoom out a little bit for you guys to explain a little bit better here. Technically, we are looking like to again head down to 181 and 75 cents. That's where we have a room to come down to. We will see what happens there. But right now, that's where we are looking like we're going to come down again to 181. That's where the blue box is. Now, I want to take you to the weekly interval for a second. Now, yes, we had a rebound play at that 200 weeks moving average. It was even a bullish play for a couple of days back then. Now, I'm on the weekly interval. What we want to see though, once we start to form this almost a next pivot as well here, and next higher low, we want to see a follow through. But this thing kept rejecting and failing and thus never could make any higher high. And thus it started to go sideways and choppy, and in the same time it made another lower low, thus putting together with the lower high, and putting together with the previous lower highs, we are just still in the downtrend. We couldn't make, yes, we had a rebound pivot, but we couldn't make another higher low. And thus, eventually, it ended up making another lower high on the weekly interval. And not Tesla, sorry, Apple, 181 is the target, at least for now. Definitely, if we lose 180, I don't expect that to happen right away, or we will see if that happens. But if we lose 180, we are watching like 166, but we'll see when that happens. Right now, technically, there is no uptrend as I just showed you in my tools as well. And if Apple has to turn around, or even you have to look for even for a trade, for a bullish trade, without breaking further below, we'll have to get above $200. Then only it may come back in the game. Otherwise, no. Otherwise, no. It's just not able to do it. It's not able to do it. Today also you can see it went up and then just sold off. It just went up in the pre-market and then it sold off, still rejected at our zone. Just gonna extend that zone. Yeah, we are still in the downtrend, guys. So if you're watching intraday multi-day, little bit of a near-term rebound or stabilization can begin above 198 and 26 cents. Otherwise, no. Even if a rebound happens, but we stay below 198 and 26 cents, it's just going to still stay in the negative structure. So again, look, technically, if Apple can get above $200, there is a possibility of this thing to turn around again. But all in all, provided, and I'm not letting you forget that negative 30% revenue on the US App Store, and all that little, not just little bit, but very underwhelming WWDC this year around. It's just, not looking that nice for Apple. Yes, they have their potential new phones come out later, but slimmer phones and all of that, um, we will see. But right now, Apple is not looking good, and I just want to talk about that in this video. Hope you found it helpful, valuable, and we'll see you in the next videos, guys. Take care. Bye.